Introducing the presiding officer of the faculty, Dr. Patrick McVeigh.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Mr. President, all is now in readiness for the 2026 Marian University Commencement Ceremony to begin.
Please welcome Chair of the Marian University Board of Trustees, Toby McClamrock.
Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I extend special congratulations to each member of the class of 2026 for reaching this important milestone. Allow me to introduce Molly Gillig, a member of the Tom and Julie Wood College of Osteopathic Medicine, class of 2026, to lead us in prayer. Please join the graduates in the platform party and stand for the prayer. Thank you.
In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. We come before you with grateful hearts today. Thank you for guiding us through our educational journey. Through the long nights of studying, challenging exams, early mornings, and moments of doubt. Thank you for the mentors who taught us, the communities who trusted us, our family and friends who supported us, and the classmates who walked alongside us. Through every challenge, you strengthened us and brought us to this day. As we prepare to graduate and step into our vocations, we ask for your continued guidance. Help us to serve with humility, compassion, and integrity. May we treat each person with dignity and respect, listening with empathy, acting with kindness, and caring with patience. Grant us wisdom in difficult decisions, clarity in times of uncertainty, and perseverance in the work ahead. Remind us always of the purpose of our calling, to serve, to uplift, and to bring hope to those we encounter. Be with us as we move forward into the next chapter. Guide our hands, our minds, and our hearts, so that in all we do, we may reflect your love and bring light to the world around us. May we carry forward a spirit of service, compassion, and hope wherever we go. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Please remain standing for the national anthem sung by 2026 graduate Vanessa Ochoa.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please welcome Chancellor and Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Kenneth Britt.
You may be seated. First, please join me in thanking Molly and Vanessa for that opening prayer and for the national anthem. You ready for a big day? All right. This year, Marian University celebrates its 175th anniversary, a long tradition of this great Catholic Franciscan university. But before we begin this program, there are a few important groups that we would like to recognize. First, let us honor the veterans who are among us. Your sacrifices and service have led us to have this great country and this great university. If you are a veteran or an active duty military member of the graduating class or any of our guests that are here, will you please stand to be recognized? Thank you so much for your service. Speaking of service, I am pleased to announce several of our Board of Trustee members who are here today. As I announce the names of our trustees, I invite them to please stand and remain standing, and please reserve your applause until all have been announced. Sister Jean Marie Cleveland, Denise Fieser, Sister Krista Franzer, Sister Annette Grizzly, Sister Maureen Irving, Congregational Minister of the Sisters of St. Francis Oldenburg, Jerry Jones, Toby McClamrock, Board Chair, Sister Joan Miller, Sister Susan Marie Pleiss, Dr. Rachel Shockley, Joseph Smith, Sister Bernice Stenger, and Raul Zavaleta. Thank you. I would also like to introduce the deans who are with us on stage representing our various schools and our colleges. Dr. Tia Bell, Layton School of Nursing. Daba Gaddafa, the E.S. Switchker School of Engineering. Kate Huber, our Health Sciences programs. Leanne Kwiatkowski, Klipsch Educators College. Chris Nicholson, College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Amanda Wright, Wood College of Osteopathic Medicine. Thank you very much for your service. Next, I would be remiss not to recognize the dedication and commitment of all of our faculty and our staff. Each of you have played a vital role in shaping the minds, the hearts of our graduates. Your commitment to advancing their academic, personal, professional, and spiritual growth has been exceptional, and we thank you for your tireless efforts. So for our faculty and staff, would you please stand to be recognized? Finally, to our families, our supporters, our friends of these graduates. So for the graduates here, as you look out to your family and friends, even all those way up in the peanut heaven section, for all the support that you have given to these graduates, those late night phone calls where they said they couldn't do it anymore, or those early morning breakfasts that you provided. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to work with your children, your spouses, your loved ones, for all the work and dedication and support that you have given them. Will you please stand to be recognized for all the supporters who are here? I know we have more than one spouse here. Come on. Thank you. So welcome graduates, family, and friends to Marian University's 89th Commencement Ceremony. Today we gather to celebrate long hours of study, clinical training, research, and leadership, efforts that reflect both your professional excellence and your personal transformation. Graduate and medical students, your time at Marian has been shaped by the rigorous training of our Catholic Franciscan University. We're so blessed to have you. You leave here with the skills and knowledge, and yes, the habits to make you a transformational leader in service to the world, because our world needs you now more than ever. As you move from student to alum, you carry that responsibility with confidence. What you've learned here to heal, to teach, to innovate, and to strengthen communities that you will serve. We're proud of the leaders that you are becoming and proud to call you a Marian University Knight. It is my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Lorinda Godfrey, a December 2025 graduate of our medical school. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Godfrey.
Well, I didn't trip on the way up, so good thing we didn't hear any laughing. I know my brothers are out there. Good morning, faculty, staff, families, friends, and my fellow graduates, of course. My name is Lorinda Godfrey, and I am now a graduate of the Marian University Tom and Julie Wood College of Osteopathic Medicine. It is my sincerest pleasure to welcome you all here today as we celebrate the incredible accomplishments of every graduate in this room, as well as those unable to attend today's ceremony. Moments like today invite us to pause and reflect on how we arrived here. Behind this moment are years of hard work, uncertainty, perseverance, and growth. Each of us has followed a different path to reach this stage, yet we've all discovered something similar. The journey was far more challenging and far more meaningful than we originally imagined. When I reflect on my own journey, I think back to one of the many moments that marked the beginning of this path. For some of us, that journey began in a lecture hall. For others, perhaps a classroom, a lab, a clinic, an office, or somewhere different altogether. For me, it began at the DO's informal white coat ceremony at the start of first year. All of us packed together in LH1, standing shoulder to shoulder with classmates we had only just met. Some were smiling nervously, others were whispering introductions, and some were just quietly taking in the moment. The room was filled with a sense of excitement and possibility, and I remember looking around and thinking, this is it, I'm actually going to be a doctor. Looking back now, that moment feels both distant and incredibly close. Since then, whether in medicine, education, counseling, or beyond, we've shared countless moments of excitement, doubt, and questioning whether we were truly capable of reaching the goals we had set for ourselves. I remember those early weeks when the reality of everything we were learning began to set in, and realizing just how much there was to carry and just how little we felt we knew. Later came the long nights, the glow of laptop screens lighting apartments and library tables across the city, and then the first real responsibilities, wondering if we had said the right words, done the right thing, made the right decisions, or in general just done enough. Despite it all, though, here we are, standing together at the end of this journey that once felt so distant, standing not as students wondering what lies ahead, but as graduates who have lived through the challenges we only once imagined. And I thank God. I thank God for the leadership, the professors, and the staff who guided us when we needed direction, for the strength to push through the moments that felt impossible, for the faith others had in us when we could not find it in ourselves. And I thank God for Marian University and for the community of support that surrounds it. The Franciscan sponsorship values invite us to reflect prayerfully on the Gospels and consider how we are called to advance the dignity of the individual, pursue peace and justice, seek reconciliation, and practice responsible stewardship. These values are not simply words in a mission statement. Over time, they have quietly shaped how we see our world and our role within it. They remind us to recognize the inherent worth in every person we encounter, even in moments when it would be easier to look away. They challenge us to pursue fairness and compassion in the communities we serve, and to approach differences with humility and a willingness to listen. They ask us to care thoughtfully for the knowledge, opportunities, and responsibilities entrusted to us, understanding that what we have been given is not ours alone to keep. At Marian, these values have shaped far more than our education. They shape the people we are becoming and the professionals we hope to be. While volunteering at the Near West Free Clinic, I met a patient who was recently diagnosed with high blood pressure. As I rechecked her reading, she became quiet and tearful before sharing that her sister had recently passed away from a stroke caused by long-term, uncontrolled high blood pressure. Because of this, her new diagnosis felt both deeply personal and frightening. And in that moment, I knew that the most important thing I could offer was not just medical knowledge, but reassurance and understanding. Experiences like this remind us that our work is not only about solving problems or applying knowledge. It is about meeting people where they are and approaching each interaction with empathy, remembering that beneath every role or label is a person shaped by their own experiences. As we prepare to leave Marian and enter the next chapter of our lives, we carry these values with us. The world ahead is complex and constantly changing. The challenges we face will not always be simple, and the answers, unfortunately, will not always be clear. Yet Marian has given us something that will guide us through both opportunity and uncertainty. It has taught us the value of a very small word, the word "and." As we grow, we learn that life is rarely defined by simple either-or choices. Many of the most meaningful moments ask us to hold two truths at the same time. We can be pushed beyond what feels comfortable and discover strengths we did not know we had. We can face moments that test our faith and still believe that our path forward has meaning. The word "and" reminds us that we are not limited by others' expectations or by our own doubts, but only by how big we allow ourselves to dream. And when we allow ourselves to dream, we create possibilities not only for our own lives, but for the ways we can inspire, support, and serve others. As we move forward, we carry more than the knowledge gained in classrooms, labs, offices, and clinical spaces. We carry the responsibility to use what we have learned in service of others, to advance dignity in the work that we do, and to pursue peace, justice, reconciliation, and responsible stewardship in the communities we will soon serve. Today, we celebrate the hard work, perseverance, and dedication that brought us to this moment. Tomorrow, we begin the next chapter of a journey that will continue to shape both our lives and the lives of those around us. As physicians, counselors, leaders, educators, and scientists, may we go forward ready to serve, ready to lead, and ready to discover all that we are still becoming. Thank you, and congratulations to the Marian University graduate class of 2026.
Please welcome Marian University President Daniel J. Elsner.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. What a wonderful, splendid day and splendid gathering. I want to congratulate Dr. Godfrey. Well, I guess I might be premature just a touch there for the official diploma, but that was a wonderful commencement speech by one of your peers. Very impressive. Thank you very much. It's now my distinct honor to introduce our commencement speaker and soon to receive an honorary doctoral degree. We take careful attention to selecting speakers from the community professional world locally and nationally at our commencement for our commencement addresses. First, we select speakers with distinct path of life, not based on what is popular or easy, but a higher calling and purpose for humanity. Secondly, we choose a speaker whose life is an expression of hope, an expression of a positive vision of humanity, civil society, and the professions. Third, we select a speaker who throughout his or her life has invested their God-given talents at the service of others, promoting assembly of the values we heard in this speech, advancing the dignity of every human person, responsible stewardship, justice, and reconciliation. It is a great pleasure then to introduce Representative Daniel Orlando Lopez to deliver our commencement speech. He is not only a very talented person with great achievements, serving as chief of staff of the highest officials in the state, serving in many leadership roles, and now a representative in the House of Representatives for the state of Indiana. Danny Lopez has always taken, I call him Danny, informal. That's a good name, Dan, of course. I introduce him not only as a person we highly respect and who takes his work very seriously, but he never takes himself very seriously and has a great sense of humor. So, gathering, I now introduce to you Daniel Lopez, representative in the state of Indiana's House of Representatives. Daniel.
It really is not fair to make me follow the student speaker, I gotta be honest with you, particularly one that good. So thank you for sharing those remarks because I think it frames the day well. And I agree with President Elsner. Dan is a wonderful name. I've got my son here who's also Daniel, so very fortunate. Good morning. Thank you, President Elsner, my dear friend, Dr. Britt, Dr. Tran, Dr. Wright, and all of the incredible faculty and staff, the Board of Trustee members, and of course, all of you, the wonderful students and families who are really what today is all about. It's such an honor to have this opportunity. I want you to understand that I know that I'm not in any way worthy of it, but I am incredibly grateful, and it is such an honor to be here with you today. And let me also say what a great privilege it is to be up here on a day that we get to celebrate Teresa Lubbers. I was talking to somebody, a shared relation that we have the other day, who said, I wonder if Teresa's grandchildren understand how consequential she has been for our state. And of course the answer is no, because they're young. But when you talk to Teresa, she, her fingerprints are on just about everything good that's happened in the state of Indiana over the last couple of decades, and you'd never know it, which is exactly how she would want it. I also want to take a moment and acknowledge and celebrate Dan Elsner for 25 years of truly transformational leadership at this university. The impact, since its inception, the impact of this university has always been baked into its mission, its Catholic faith, its core Franciscan values, and its commitment to the greater good. But President Elsner, from the beginning, understood that the secret sauce is understanding that the Marian miracle, the true miracle of this university, is to turn it into an agent of change and an agent of action that we so desperately need in this city. And he and his team, all the folks who are behind me and all the folks who are sitting in the audience, have spent almost 3 decades reimagining and redefining what higher education ought to be about. And that's the thing. Marian ignites that change by giving license to leaders to live their faith openly and unabashedly, but it simultaneously demands that we constantly examine our convictions and we don't hide behind them and we don't use them to exclude or to tear down or to seek differences. This university illustrates for each and every one of us that our decisions matter, that living with intentionality matters, and that we have agency over our own lives, and that living in service to others is a decision that we make despite society pushing us to the contrary. And I have to tell you, that's why this resonates so much, and the mission of this university and the work that's done here resonates so much for me and with me, particularly lately. President Elsner mentioned that I've served in a number of different roles. One of those roles was Chief of Staff to then Lieutenant Governor Eric Holcomb, and it's one of the best kept secrets around. I don't think people even in the State House understand or know, but the office of the Chief of Staff to Lieutenant Governor in the State House is by far, in my opinion, the most remarkable and beautiful office in the State House. It's got these really high ceilings, it's ornate, this beautiful crown molding, this amazing marble fireplace. It opens up outside the Senate chambers into the hallway, and if you look out the window, it's the plaza that sits between the executive offices and the State House. It really is a remarkable building, and in all my time there, there's just one moment that is sort of burned into my memory, and it's a really personal one, and I actually love that my son is here because I'm going to talk about him for a second. My son Daniel couldn't have been more than 2. And I have this image where I'm talking on the phone, my office phone, or my iPhone, and I'm looking down at him and I'm smiling, and he's looking up at me. He had grabbed my office phone, he's got it to his ear, he's got his other hand on my knee, and he's got this sort of mischievous smile on his face, and he's mimicking what I'm doing as I'm having this conversation that probably at the time I thought was the most, important conversation that had ever been had in the state of Indiana, and I'm sure it wasn't, whatever it was. So I don't know who it was. It might have been my wife, Sophia, who's here, but somebody snapped a photo of that moment. It's perfectly captured, and I framed it, and I have it on my desk. And I look at it all the time, obviously. And we've dealt with some really tough, controversial things over the last 5 to 10 months in the State House. And we've had some really difficult votes, some votes that have been tough for me. And you could probably, back in December, we had one. You probably guess what that is. It seems to be the gift that keeps on giving. But that one really weighed on me, and when we took that vote and my position lost, I remember coming back to this empty office because everybody had cleared out of the State House, and I was sitting back in my chair and I was looking at this photo, and I was truly overcome with emotion. I actually wept, which if you want to catch my wife after, she will tell you that unless it's a football game that I lost or something, I'm not crying a whole lot. But I was truly teared up, and I was overcome with emotion. And it wasn't because it was the most consequential vote ever. The state's not going to fall apart this year because of these kinds of votes. But I was overcome because at that moment I felt so frustrated and so helpless. And I felt, as I looked at this photo, at this smiling 2-year-old who's looking back at me, I felt like I had failed him and I had sort of let the next generation down. And I felt as if the decisions that I make really don't matter. And it took a lot of friendship and a lot of mentorship, including from some people who are here today in this room, to make me understand how wrong I really was. And I've realized that living in service of the public is often rewarding and it's sometimes very thankless, but when it's done with a servant's heart and it's done for the right reasons, it is always consequential. And my decisions, no matter how insignificant they may seem, right in the moment, they really do matter. My words matter. The positions I take on things matter, how I treat my colleagues, my staff, that matters, and whether or not I fire myself up to go back to work with every ounce of energy and enthusiasm that I can muster, that matters. Some people would call it getting off the mat, but it matters. And this, to me, above everything, is the gift that Marian University gives to all of us. It's the understanding that the decisions we make, what we say and what we do, really do matter, and we have an obligation to live our lives accordingly. So I know what this is, and I know full well you all have family here that want to get to graduation parties and get photos, and you all want your diplomas. So as I land the plane, I just want to talk about a few lessons I want to share. I'm probably closer to your age than most of the commencement speakers, so now I'm mid-career, I'm 20 years in, and I think some of these lessons hopefully resonate with you because they're truths that I've learned over a 20-year career. The first one is this: understand and embrace that you are the elite. We've been programmed to run away from that term. It's become a bad word, I know. But whether you like it or not, by virtue of your experiences and your preparation, all of us are exactly that. We are elite. So the challenge for us is to understand what that really means, to earn that moniker in a meaningful way every single day, and to comprehend the immense responsibility that comes with it. George Will, I'm kind of dating myself, but George Will, who's a historian and a writer, a columnist, political columnist in the Washington Post, was here recently having a conversation with Mitch Daniels, and he talked about this subject, and something he said really stuck with me, so I wrote it down. He said, the question in any society isn't whether elites will rule, it's which elites. And he went on to talk about the moral decay, the incivility, the seeming lack of leadership from which modern society is suffering at the moment. and he attributed it, at least in part, to an abdication and a resignation by our best and brightest. So elite, he says, has now come to mean only unearned prominence and unjustified power and influence. And it was clear for him that he's not talking about the financial elites. He's talking about those who have been given and have earned what most other people can only envy. So we need to view ourselves as such, and we need to embrace the opportunity and the responsibility that comes with that moniker. And if we're not willing to step up and vocally and publicly acknowledge truths about what's right and what's wrong, and standards that we should be held to, then who's going to do that? The second is, don't fall prey to the culture of dichotomous thinking that has run rampant through our society. The normalization of the idea that I win because you lose makes it impossible to operate from a place of true empathy. And I cannot think of professions more where that sense of empathy is more important than what you all are going to be doing in your lives. But that gives us the go-ahead to retreat into our separate corners, something that's already a problem with social media, and it makes the erosion of faith in our institutions inevitable. A willingness to find middle ground is not a character flaw, and a life lived as a series of litmus tests is not noble, and it's not patriotic, it's irresponsible. An openness to reasonable compromise is a sign of maturity, of good citizenship, of pragmatism toward a greater good. I just finished Justice Amy Coney Barrett's book. If you have a chance to pick it up, it's fantastic. It's a great read. One of the things she says in there that also jumped out at me, and I wrote it down, is collegiality is not always an act of the heart. Sometimes it is an act of the will, and the dividends are always worth the discipline. And finally, the last point I want to leave you with, and then we can get on with the show. The best advice that I can give you is don't abandon the buttons. And I know there's a few people that are still paying attention, and you're looking at me going, what is this guy talking about, and where is this going to go? But I'm going to tell you, this is the thing that I struggle with the most in my professional life, in my personal life, and I'm willing to bet that most of you are going to struggle with it as well, because it's just the way we're wired. I'm the son of a public school librarian. I like to now go back and reread some of the classics that probably I should have paid more attention to when I was younger. And now I'm finding that as you get older, you pull the different lessons from those books. One of them that I read last year was Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. So let me have a show of hands. Who has read Fahrenheit 451? Okay. So there's your last bit of homework on the way out the door from Marian University. You ought to read Fahrenheit 451. There's a powerful monologue in which Fire Chief Beatty, who's one of the protagonists, is explaining the very intentional dumbing and numbing of American society as independent thought and intellectual curiosity are eradicated in this dystopian society that has been created. And so Beatty, in this monologue, says, classics are cut down to 15-minute radio shows, then cut again to fill 2-minute book columns, winding up at last as a 10 or 12-line dictionary resume. Many were those whose sole knowledge of Hamlet was a one-page digest in a book that claimed, now at last, you can read all the classics and keep up with your intellectual neighbors. And he goes on to say, and this is the line that really stuck with me, it's a line that I want you to remember. He says, the zipper displaces the button, and man lacks just that much time to think while dressing at dawn, a philosophical hour. Now I can tell you, getting dressed this morning, it was not a philosophical hour. I had kids running around yelling at each other. It's what a normal a normal Lopez morning is. So it wasn't a philosophical hour, but it is sometimes, and that's a really powerful thing to envision, right? You're getting dressed in the morning, it's dark, the house is quiet, and it's very often just you and your thoughts. But what happens when the zipper displaces the button? We've designed everything in our lives around speed and efficiency, but perhaps at the expense of our inquisitiveness, our curiosity, our ability, and our appetite to stop and to think. And I'm as guilty as anyone of this. I've spent the better part of the last 20 years pushing for the next opportunity, pining for what's down the road, not giving nearly enough attention to where I am and what I'm doing, and thinking a whole lot about what I think I need to be doing or what I think I want to be doing or achieving. And you will all, most of you probably already are, but you will all feel the same exact pressures in your very demanding careers and personal lives. But what happens is, as a result, way too many of us are living these Cliff's Notes lives, and I realize as I read that line that I've dated myself again, because Cliff Notes I don't even think exists anymore. But few of us ever take the time or have the time to do what talented people like us ought to be doing, which is reflecting on the challenges that we face as a society, our beliefs, our convictions, and then figuring out how to take meaningful action to make the world a better place. And each time we abandon the buttons for the zipper, we lose just another moment where we're forced to sit and think. All right, so graduates, I'm going to come back to where I started. We all have this incredible opportunity to make this city, the state, the country, our world, your families, your communities, your neighborhoods better and stronger, healthier, and more equitable. As alumni of Marian University, you are called to contribute to a greater good. And the decisions we make today and tomorrow and the day after that, they're nothing but forks in the road that set us up to live a life in the service of others. So, my call to action is this. Join me in striving to be what this university demands that we be. Examples of everything that's possible if we keep God, goodness, and the dedication to something greater than ourselves at the center of everything that we do. Be worthy elites. Avoid dichotomous thinking. And most importantly, don't abandon the buttons. Thank you and congratulations.
Please welcome Chief Academic Officer Dr. Ben Tran.
Thank you, Danny. We now have the pleasure of conferring the honorary degrees. Honorary degrees have become an important means for universities dedicated to the ideals of higher education to recognize leaders whose lives exemplify distinguished service through their calling and their professions. It is in honoring these individuals that Marian University illuminates the values and aspirations we seek to engender in the world. The practice of awarding honorary degrees dates to the 12th century when popes and emperors exercised that privilege to honor great persons. The conferring of honorary degrees is obviously no longer limited to such dignitaries as popes and emperors. However, the rationale for the honor is no less important today than it was 8 centuries ago. The honorary degree recipient has earned this recognition by dedicating many years of service to society, to the arts, to a profession, or to an ideal. The candidates receiving honorary degrees from Marian University today exemplify the finest of those people dedicated to the broad range of human aspirations and service. As I now present our candidates for honorary degrees, President Elsner, Toby McClamrock, Chair of the Board of Trustees, and Dr. Patrick McVeigh, Grand Marshal, will escort each candidate to the lower riser. Daniel Orlando Lopez, recipient of the Doctorate of Public Service. Representative Daniel Orlando Lopez is President and CEO of Vinchem Public Relations and serves in the Indiana General Assembly, elected in 2024 to represent Carmel and Westfield. A seasoned leader across public, private, and nonprofit sectors, he previously served as Executive Vice President for Pacers Sports and Entertainment and held senior leadership roles at the local, state, and federal levels. His civil service includes appointments to the Indiana Judicial, Nominating, and Qualifications Commissions, membership on the Executive Committee of the Indiana Sports Corporation, and board service with the Mitch Daniels Leadership Foundation. Mr. Lopez's work has been recognized with numerous honors, including the Indianapolis Business Journal's Indiana 250 and the 40 Under 40 lists, 2 Sagamore of Wabash Awards, and a Distinguished Hoosier Award. He holds a bachelor's degree from Florida International University and a master's in sports administration from Georgia State University. Marian University confers this honorary degree in recognition of the decades of leadership and sustained service to Indiana, a distinction he celebrates with his wife, Dr. Sofia Soto Lopez, and their children. Daniel Orlando Lopez, by virtue of the power entrusted by the Marian University Board of Trustees, the honorary degree of Doctor of Public Service is conferred upon you with all rights and privileges thereof. Teresa Lubbers, recipient of Doctorate of Public Service. Teresa Lubbers is president of the Sagamore Institute and a nationally respected leader in education and public service. She served 17 years in the Indiana State Senate, chairing the Senate Education and Career Development Committee, and 13 years as Indiana's Commissioner on Higher Education. A longtime partner of Marian University in launching the Penny and Jock Fortune Institute for Civic Leadership and Capitalism, she has devoted her career to aligning post-secondary education with student and workforce needs. Her civic leadership includes past chairmanship of the YMCA of Greater Indianapolis, co-founding the Richard Lugar Excellence in Public Service Series, and board service with the Lumina Foundation and Independent Colleges of Indiana. She has also led regional and national higher education initiatives. A recipient of honors including the Daniels Prize and the Sagamore of the Wabash, she holds a bachelor's degree from Indiana University, a master's in public administration from Harvard Kennedy School. Marian University confers this honorary degree in recognition of her decades of service. She shares this distinction today with her husband, Mark Lubbers. Teresa Lubbers, by virtue of the power entrusted by the Marian University Board of Trustees, the honorary degree of the Doctor of Public Service is conferred on you with all rights and privileges thereof. Congratulations. We're now at that moment everybody's been waiting for, when we confer diplomas to our graduates. The graduates who will be coming across the stage in a few minutes are a wide range of individuals. They have earned the right and honor to possess a degree from Marian University. Many have come to Marian directly from a variety of outstanding undergraduate colleges and universities, including Marian. Several of them have worked diligently to earn their graduate degrees while managing careers and family responsibilities. The essence of today's ceremony is to celebrate the combined outstanding work of Marian's faculty, staff, and administration, working alongside these students as teachers and coaches and mentors in their pursuit of earning their advanced degrees from this university. Marian University's legacy of providing an education that profoundly transforms lives, society, and the world is only possible because of the knowledge, love, skill, and faith of the faculty and staff. Considering their inseparable contributions to these graduates, I invite the faculty and the staff to stand so that we can give them a resounding applause one more time. Please stand. Thank you. To ensure that we give each graduate their proper recognition and to honor the dignity of this ceremony, we request the audience please withhold applause until all degrees have been awarded. Along with the deans of the colleges and schools, we will now present the class of 2026. Graduates will be assisted by Ms. Jennifer Schwartz, Executive Director of Academic Operations and the Registrar, and introduced by Mr. Mark Erdosi, Development Officer, and Ms. Tony Polizzi, Director of Creative Services. Will the graduates for all degrees please stand? President Elsner, the Candidates standing before you and whose names appear in the printed program are eligible to receive the Marian University graduate and doctorate degrees based on certification of the registrar, and that all degree requirements have been met. The diploma reads, "Be it known to all whom these presents shall come that the Board of Trustees of Marian University, upon the recommendation of the faculty, have conferred upon these candidates the earned degree with all rights, privileges, and honors everywhere pertaining to that degree. Given by Marian University in Indianapolis this 3rd day of May 2026, and signed by the chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Marian University's president, and by me, the chief academic officer and provost. Upon the recommendation of the faculty and with approval of the Board of Trustees, Marian University will now confer upon each of these graduates and members of the class of 2026 the degree as specified. The listing of the degree candidates in the program include those who graduated in December 2025, May 2026, and August 2026. They will all receive recognition and congratulations from you today. President Elsner, I am pleased to now present the candidates in order that you may confer upon them their degree. Candidates, please be seated. We can have the first row line up. Graduates will be presented by college and school today, along with their respective deans. We will now begin the presentation of the candidates.
College of Arts and Sciences, presented by Dr. Christopher Nicholson, Master of Science, Diana Cardoza Manzano,
Molly L. Gorley,
Tiffany Johnson,
Holly Lynn Kirstner,
Father Jomi Matthew,
Elizabeth Ann Nickel,
Carlene Poland,
Madison Elizabeth Schwartz,
Tiffany B. Shern,
Jensen Summers,
Riley Kristen Woods,
Catherine O'Connor,
Anna Grace O'Donovan,
Hannah Marie Robbins,
Miranda Lee Shetler,
Klipsch Educators College, presented by Dr. Leanne Kwiatkowski, Master of Arts, Terry L. Jackson, Jr.,
Francesca Saahi Cardenas,
Jana Lorenzano,
Lindsay Sue Russo,
Talea Lanice Smith,
Master of Arts in Education, Larissa K. Gordon,
Spencer Daniel McCumber,
Grace Margaret Meehan,
Megan M. Rell,
Master of Arts in Teaching, Haley Jordan Alexander,
Vanessa Baines, Skylar Ray Clinton Bell,
Lillian Rose Cardwell,
Ashley Casson,
Micah J. Coleman.
Amanda Dawn Dix.
Deanna Lynn Dowdell.
Celia Grant Mack.
Anthony Fletcher.
Annabelle Guarneros Vargas.
Olivier Guerra.
Nicole M. Hargrove. Catherine Joanne Hirsch.
Gwen B. Howard.
Adam Johnson Kelly Jr.
Catherine A. Conrad.
Jasmine Z. Martin.
Megan Aline McCumber.
Glenn H. Miller Jr.
Grant Meunier.
Christina M. Nye Plowman.
LaQuadra K. Offit.
Candace Lee O'Neill.
Shelby Alexandra Pedro.
Keith Prezi.
Valencia Rice.
Olivia Jo Roth.
James Andrew Shaw.
Babakar Cham.
Jarrett Thomaston.
Cheyenne Lee Ward.
Deshaun Ward.
Danae Alexandria Cleo Wesley.
Madison Whitaker.
Eli Thomas Wilson.
Master of Science, Melissa Lynn Abernathy. Elizabeth Malloy Cowan.
Maria Cummings.
Bo Tyler Davidson.
Nicole Francis.
Lacey Ladd.
Emily Eileen O'Shaughnessy.
Sarah Noel Ramsey.
Morgan Rose. Brittany Noel Sachs.
Katharina Shepler.
Lauren Van Betten McLaughlin.
Doctor of Education, Ricardo Ricky Ganeshlau.
Jillian Lane.
Ernest D. Lovelace.
Jennifer Elizabeth Morris.
Gail Denise McGee.
Shara L. Gardner.
Daryl E. Morton Jr.
James William Officer III.
Wood College of Osteopathic Medicine, presented by Dr. Amanda Wright, Master of Science. Haley Abel.
Mohammed Ad Al Sheikh.
Ellis Elizabeth Anderson.
Brooke Lindsay Buckner.
Lauren Madeline Butler.
Mahtoor Chowdhury.
Noah Christopher Creamer.
Perry Ford Curtis.
Ethan Daniel Filomersky.
Catherine Victoria Gonzalez.
Kimberly Gonzalez.
Alec David Haldeman.
Ariana Renee Hankins.
Shia Hill.
Desiree Janae Humbles.
Sarah Catherine Rose Kalkoff.
Krithik Kanan. Michael Lamb.
Tara Pooja Lowther. Martin Emil Madoff.
Kate Clarice Arellano Mendoza. Marina Elizabeth Milad.
Noah David Ridgway. Deborah Lisette Rodriguez Banegas. Shin Yi Silverdew Shi.
Mankrith Singh.
Maxwell Thomas Stoll. Sonia Tamang. Ethan Robert Thornburg. Caroline Alexandra Turner.
John Michael Benedict Bonifacio Unciano. Kayla Marie Wilhoit.
Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, Saban Masood.
Lauren Ashley Anderson.
Komal Carr.
Allison Aldrich.
Sarah Rashid Ali.
Anna Marie Catherine Augustinovich.
Ashley Renee Barrett.
Anisha Lakshmi Batina.
Megan Elizabeth Wheeler.
Anna Catherine Barker.
Savina B. Siddiqui.
Mackenzie Noel Lawson.
Elizabeth Margaret Carlson.
Nicolette Angeline Mercurios.
Mackenzie L. Kaplanis. Peyton J. Sparks.
Lauren M. Casbin.
Mohammed Abdullah Khalid.
Reagan Elizabeth Beatty.
Brianna Bowl.
Avery Rose Zott.
Taylor Brianne Mahalik.
Saket Reddy Boyapali.
Matthew Patrick Hastings.
Grace Margaret Broadhurst.
Hamza Tariq.
Samuel J. DeWitt.
Emily Maria Davis.
Alexis Michelle Swigendorf.
Darby M. DeFord.
Megan Elizabeth Simpson.
Claire Michelle Eby.
Wyatt Richard Duggan.
Jared Salas.
Craig Allen Fada.
Alexander Charles Elma.
Megan Elizabeth Happ Rosler.
Anna Jo Prawl.
Cole Harrison Gardner.
Madeline Bridget Pearson.
Liana Kragenbrink.
Lorinda Helen Godfrey.
Andrew Joseph Gehrig.
Nina Jane O'Neill.
Aaron Heinlein.
Madeline Renee Noel Henley.
Cheyenne Lane Henry.
Ingun Ne Kil.
Dina Noor Horani.
Hannah O'Leary.
Melanie Jean Wynn.
Kirindeep Multani Carr.
Deborah and Yola Asolu.
Alexandria Dawn Little.
Emily Ann Schubach.
Allie Nicole Gordian.
Allison W. Godlewski.
Masood Nawa.
Rebecca Lynn Anderson Green.
Hannah R. Mullinax.
Ariana Greenwood.
Victoria Ann Templin.
Nikita Kumar.
Theodore Robert Blake Larson.
Laura Lawrence.
Richard J. Kwok.
Ashley Ann Hansen.
Rebecca M. Valentine.
Sanskruti Mahajan Brahman.
Hunter James Hoffman.
Bria Louise Liette. Catherine Moravec.
Sandunya Vidarshi Obasekara.
Catherine Nicole Perry.
Taylor Hartman.
Victoria Moore.
Johanna Tova Feiner.
Elizabeth Ingraham Monger.
Zachary A. Montgomery.
Chelsea Amber Moore.
Ryan William Morgan.
Angela Hodges.
Autumn Lee Horner.
Juan Cuecha Salazar.
Brooke Taylor Franz Smith.
William A. O'Farrow Jr.
Casimir Oganowski IV.
Alexandra Isa Nitu.
Courtney Marie O'Donnell.
Shakuti Ndubuizi Okonkwo.
China Najee Walker.
Allison Luann Wells.
Nicole Hetrick.
Varun Mungal.
Wyatt Daniel Reed.
Michaela Marie Jennings.
Rachel Elizabeth Martin.
Milan Daniel Casahoon.
Daniel Salama Albatarse.
Lauren Nicole Allman.
Mary Catherine Flanagan.
Christian Rodrigo Gonzalez.
Evan Edward Kozinski.
Jacob Allen Snyder.
Alicia R. Pinchok.
Kathleen McCaslin.
Alyssa Marie Seawright.
Molly Jo Gillig.
Gabrielle Lenore Magjars.
Noah Thomas Rapp.
Sophia Scales.
Gabriella Lucia Battiston.
Ashley D. Souza.
Layla Jean Weezer.
Maggie Mae Granatier.
Hardeep Kaur Dillon.
Carson Rain Mallory Tober.
Zain Karam Siddiqui.
Samantha Ray Allgood.
Snehal Garg.
Sabrina M. Montesino.
Vasilios Mihail Katsaidis.
Ellie Clementine Kite.
Ting Xiao.
Alexis Marie Klink.
Megan Rose McCormick.
Troy Danielle Graves.
Jennifer Firehammer.
Michaela L. Habjan.
Jake Tyler Lex.
Alexis Torres.
Emily Marie Anderson.
Cameron E. Ben Scoter.
Catherine Ibrahim.
Gurkamal Randawa.
James R. Walsdorf.
Mackenzie K. Young Eckert.
Derek Robert Wagner.
Sarah Ray Shepard.
Jillian Claire Nicely.
Tessa L. Wrightson.
Alexis M. Zavitsky.
Nibras Hussein Mayman.
Ekaterina Makovic.
Jaypal Singh Mali.
Layton School of Nursing, presented by Dr. Tia Bell, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Emily Elizabeth Bohanik.
Haley Eileen Hoying.
Dimitar Dimitrov.
Haley Dawn Belli.
Taylor Lee Fairley.
Caitlin Aaron Keene.
Elise Nicole Newberry.
Matthew Elliott O'Neill.
Carly Grace Castagna.
Bradley A. Davis.
William Joseph Deturi. Hannah Marie Gross.
Caitlin Scarlett Phillips.
Ethan Joseph Diesler.
Jason Joycuddy.
Catherine M. Kip Meinart.
Kirsten Nicole Luttrell.
Gemma E. McDowell.
Crystal D. Rodriguez.
Salvador Salazar.
Abigail Payne Abels.
Reagan Grace Bowling.
Heather Coe.
Lauren Irwin.
Jared Thomas Klein.
Alexander Daniel Pizzini.
Rebecca Lynn Chalfant.
Kelly Jean Cahalane.
Anthony Ignatov.
Dahuda Jimo.
And Logan Lloyd McCann.
At this time, will all of the graduates please stand? Per tradition of our graduates today, they all wear their tassels on the left-hand side, signifying that they've already received their earned degrees. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the doctoral and master's graduates of the class of 2026. Thank you, graduates, and congratulations. Please be seated. President Elsner, the conferring of degrees have been completed. I now invite you to take the stage and share your final remarks.
Let's see if my mic works. They invited me to take the stage. I think I'll come down from the stage to be a little closer to the action. We have friends of Senator Lugar here. I know he was a great mentor to Dr. Lubbers, and then you knew Senator and Mayor and all. Mayor Senator Lugar, the late senator, was a great statesman. And he talked about great nations. And he said, you no longer have the right to call yourself a great nation if you don't live by higher ideals and do things for others beyond your self-interest. Why do I bring up nations and self-interest? Because we want to be a great Catholic university here in this city. Great universities forego their right to be great if they don't live by higher ideals. It's the same thing with great physicians, great educators, great counselors, great principals. Some of you, yeah, that's what you are, I know. If you don't live by a higher ideal, a higher purpose, a higher calling. C.S. Lewis has a great quote, everybody dies. We all have our first breath and our last breath. What we do in between is our choice. And C.S. Lewis said, while everybody dies, not everybody lived. You've seen that quote. That's a choice, how you want to live. Those higher ideals keep you from treating this education you've received, the gifts and talents you've received from God, your many skills, your ability to keep learning and being excellent. It drives you to a higher purpose than the people you work with. Take those higher ideals of Marian University to your profession, to the world, much like our commencement speaker asked you to do. You could say it this way, to be a great elite, you have to be a great servant. You have to have this higher calling. Another great philosopher and theologian, Mumford and Sons. Awake my soul. You ever listen to that song? Awake my soul. Where you invest your love, you invest your life. That's the central phrase in that song. And there's a lot of truth to that. Being a professional, if you want to define love and a professional, they're very similar. As a professional person, when I come to you as a doc, my interest is your interest. You work on behalf of me. Love, serving in love, whether it be in your family, with a spouse, it's not easy every day, by the way. I've been married 50 years, so I can tell you, not so much from my side, but from hers. Right? Let's be honest. Working in the interest of the other is the key to a good life. It's a key to a good society. It's a key, like Dr. Lopez says, to compromise and seeing the other's position and working for a better world. You're armed with an education that makes you, as Dr. Lopez says, an elite. Now you get to decide how you're going to go out and use it, right? You were born to meet your Maker. If you live with these higher ideals we've taught you and we've been ensconced with, that have been lived incarnate in person by your great faculty and your deans and the supporters in here that have been behind you, they lived in your interest. You will have a good life and you will make a good mark. And when you meet your Maker, they're going to say, "Welcome home, my good and faithful servant. You had many blessings. You obviously have a good intellect. You wouldn't be sitting here. And you studied hard to earn the degrees to serve at a higher level as a true elite." An elite with the Marian banner. How do you do it every day? A couple things. Every morning and every evening, pray that you can live these values about the dignity of every human person. And it isn't always easy, right? Live every day to be a good steward of this education, your intellect, and your gifts, and this powerful nation in which you live for a higher good. So you never cease to claim the idea of being a great example of a great university. Work for justice, work for reconciliation. There's another phrase from Mumford & Son, that song, "Awake My Soul," and it talks about the challenges and tribulations of life, and there's a phrase that says, "Give me your hand and we'll conquer them all." That's how you do it every day. Work with others. Join with others, especially people that you may think on the surface are different from you. Because we belong to one another at the end of the day. And we're going to succeed together or separate. And in these professions of especially education and healthcare, may I say it's a team sport, like almost everything in life. Live by a higher purpose. Live with love, where you take the interest of the other ahead of your own. I work in your interest. And work every day through prayer and thought and holding the hands of others around you to accomplish great things. And you'll be a great Marian University graduate, and that'll really absolutely give us the claim of being a great university in this great American city. God bless you all. Go Knights. Now I'm going to take the stage like I was asked to do and introduce Sister Marian Irvin, Congregational Minister for the Sisters of St. Francis of Oldenburg, to share a very special prayer and benediction. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, supporters.
Graduates, please stand. Loving God, we thank you for this wonderful day of celebration for our Marian University graduates. As their families, friends, mentors, supporters, professors, and coaches, it has been a privilege to witness their hard work and dedication, their deepening and maturing, their sacrifices and challenges. We rejoice that they will forever be part of our Marian family and that they have earned their degrees from Marian, Indianapolis's Catholic Franciscan University. We pray for each of our graduates that by living the Franciscan values they have witnessed and experienced here, they may launch their future careers as transformative leaders for service to our world, which is so in need of faith, values, and ethics. As these graduates embark on new endeavors, continue to gift them with insight, wisdom, and generosity. Bless them with the strength to overcome obstacles, the courage to embrace new opportunities, and the humility to serve others. Gracious God, we offer this prayer with humble hearts. Amen. The Sisters of St. Francis of Oldenburg are the founders of Marian University and have been proud to sponsor Marian throughout these many years. Those sisters who are here representing our entire community would like to sing our customary blessing of St. Clare for our graduates. Our associates and Marian Sacred Choir will join us, and anyone else in the Marian community that knows the blessing, you're welcome to join us also. The words to the blessing are in your program.
Thank you.